Okay, hello everyone. Hello to Lale again. Lale's going to help us. Today we're going to just review the basic wall stretches that anybody can do either before or after a workout, but especially after a run. So we're going to start with your basic calf stretch facing the wall. She's going to put her hands on the wall and she's going to keep her left foot back and step forward the right foot. Right, and we're going to start with, now normally people just push right into this calf stretch, but I want her to bend the back knee, keeping the foot grounded, so make sure that that foot stays flat. She's going to bend the back knee and just allow the stretch to happen in the ankle and the lower calf muscles, which is really a different muscle from your upper calf. It's called the soleus. She's going to hold that for about 10 seconds. And that really gets those muscles that are right behind the ankle and the Achilles tendon. Then she's going to push that leg all the way straight, keeping the foot flat. She's going to lean a little bit more into the wall and push a little bit more. So now she's stretching those upper calf muscles. So these are the ones that are higher up, that are the ones that connect up to the back of the knee and the hamstring. And again, she's breathing, she's pressing, getting a nice stretch. You want to hold each of these positions for about 10 to 20 seconds. Now she's going to straighten her front leg and slide it back so that it's underneath her hip. And then she's going to transfer all of her weight onto that right leg and bend over. And now she's getting a stretch. She may need to move a little bit further away from the wall. Yeah, just so you get, and she's getting a stretch on the back of her right leg, so her other leg. Now, just by bending forward with the torso, feeling that right hip lifting and the back of the knee straight, she's getting a nice stretch on the back of her whole right leg. Okay, let's go ahead and lift up, and then she's going to step forward with her left foot, step the right foot back a little bit further, and we're going to start the same thing. So she's going to bend that right knee. She's pushing a little bit with her hands, but usually just by bending that right knee and sinking down, she'll get a pretty good stretch in those muscles, yeah. So runners really need to stretch more than just the calf. They need this stretch to the ankle muscles and soleus and Achilles tendon. It's about 3 breath cycles. And then she's going to push that leg all the way straight. And just press now for the full calf stretch. Shifting the hips forward is how you increase the intensity. Keeping your arms pushing is important too, but it's mostly about just shifting forward while maintaining that heel grounded. And about 3 breath cycles. Now she's going to push her front leg straight and bring that left leg back so it's under her hip, and then bow over that left leg. All the way in that front leg. And she can even lean like onto the heel, like lift up the toes a little bit to really make sure she's back with her leg. That really gets it good. So you can do these stretches anywhere and really dressed in just about any clothes except for like maybe high heels. Okay, now she's going to stand back up. Next stretch, obvious stretch, are the quad stretch. So she's going to just bend her right leg and grab her right foot. Lift up her right leg and grab her right foot. And notice she's keeping her left knee bent. So a lot of people tend to straighten the standing leg. It's important that you keep that standing leg bent. And then you don't want to let that knee turn to the side. If you can just turn toward me a little bit, Lale, so people can see. So right now it's hard because she can't balance herself, but see how her knee is right parallel to her other knee. You can get that by thinking of dropping, once you've got the hold of the foot, dropping the right hip and knee toward the floor. That'll help it hang more straight up and down. Okay, you can turn to face the wall now. So it's good to have something to hold on to for balance when you do this. It's not a balance exercise. There may be some balance involved, but what's your purpose? Your purpose is to stretch the quad. Now, once she's got a hold of the foot and she's dropped, now tuck your butt forward, touch your hips forward. Right, that's what increases the intensity. She's just tucking her pelvis forward. She doesn't have to pull really hard with a hand. The quads are very thick muscles. it's better not to pull on them really hard to start, but to give them time to lengthen. And you just breathe and feel the stretch all the way from the top of your thigh all the way down. You don't want to feel too intensely around the knee. If you do, let the foot be a little bit further away from your hip and focus more on the pressing the hip forward so you get more of the middle part of your thigh, upper part. Good, let's switch to the other leg. Almost everybody does some version of these stretches, but they might not be doing them exactly in the right form, and these little details are important. Keeping the standing leg bent, dropping the hips, knee down toward the floor, and tucking the pelvis forward. And of course, breathing. Inner stretching is about breathing. Long, slow, full breaths. Tuck your hips just a little bit more forward. There you go. And release. Excellent. Now we're going to move on to some other stretches. Okay, here we go. Continuing on with some fundamental stretches that you can really do either before or after your exercise. So standing with your legs in a wide parallel stance, she's just going to bend her knees and bend over at the waist so that it gets to a flat back. Should feel comfortable. She's not bending the knees too much, but she's getting a little bit of stretch to the hips already. Then she's going to push her left leg straight, so she's going to shift over to her left, which is your right. Those people are mirroring it. And what she's doing, she's trying to stretch the inner thigh of that straight leg. Stretching the adductors, and you want to engage down through your right leg so that you're pulling away from the straight leg, so you feel that you're getting a stretch deep on the inside where that straight leg connects into your groin. You're gonna hold that for about, again, 3 breaths, and then switch over to the other side. I'm sure you've seen people doing these stretches, and some people may be able to take it in a wider position. Some people may even be able to go down to the floor with their hands. It really depends on your level of flexibility, but it's important to stretch those adductors and to feel that you're engaging down with the feet, not just collapsing into the position. Is that about 3 breaths? Good. Now she's going to turn to her right and take a lunge stretch. So you have if you're following her in the TV, your right leg is forward, back leg. Now she's going to stay straight here with her back leg for a few seconds, just to work an active stretch, reaching back with the heel, and she's keeping her right knee is right over her heel in the front foot, which is perfect. And then she's going to gently set the back knee down without bringing it forward, just set it straight down where it is. And then she kind of relaxes her hips forward, so she's stretching the front of your left hip. Front of her right hip, your left hip. Good. And this you just relax into it, you don't force it. Now she's going to bring her left hand on her left hand on her knee, on your knee, and then to lift herself. She can shift back with the hips a little bit, so just find your balance. Once she's got her balance, she's going to again let the hips go forward again, and this just increases it, and she's opening her chest. Right? Is this like related to a yoga pose, Lale?
Crescent moon. Yeah.
Here we go. Breathing into it. Now she's going to come back again with her hips, and this time she's going to lift up her arm, and then she's going to go forward again, arching, lifting up through her chest. So now she's really stretching the whole front of that side of the body. So this is how you just expand a stretch from one to another to the next. And then she's going to bring that hand back down. She's going to curl the toes in her back foot, and she's going to shift her hips back until her front leg is straight. Good. And she's going to put her left hand down, which is her left hand will be your right hand, so the hand that's on the same as the leg that she's in front. And then she's going to bow over, curl the toes in the back. And so she shifted until that leg got straight. That's important, that you go backward until the leg is straight. And then she bows over that leg. And this is called a kneeling hamstring stretch. And getting closer here. And she's brought the opposite hand to the foot. You don't have to do that, but if you bring the opposite hand to the foot, you can help grab those toes and pull them back, and that just increases the stretch. If you have hyperextended knees, you'd want to keep that knee slightly bent. It's really hard, I know, for people who have the hyperextension to do that, but you don't want to push that knee past straight. So for you, it'll feel, for hyperextended people, it's going to feel a little bent. Good. Okay. So now she's going to go back into a lunge, push the back leg on the toe, push it straight, and then she's going to pivot to the front through the wide forward bend and over to the other leg, starting with a long parallel stretch. And just one more breath, and then gently set that knee down to the mat. You may have to move that mat back. Okay, good, you just made it. Okay, and then here's just relaxing. She can just relax for a while and let that front of that hip get used to getting lengthened. And then she's going to just put both hands on her knee and lift herself up. Shift back with the hips a little bit just to get steady, and then shift forward again. And this is just an increase in intensity. You may or may not want to do this, it depends. She's not really on her kneecap in that back knee, she's really past the kneecap, right? So it shouldn't feel too bad on the knee, but if you do have knee issues, then either put more padding down there or don't do this one, keep the knee off. Now she's going to come back again, and then she's going to lift up her opposite arm from the front leg, and then shift forward, opening the chest and taking that full stretch for that whole side of the body. Reaching up through the fingers, so she's sending energy up through the arm, out through the crown of the head, lengthening the pubic bone down, lengthening the tailbone down. One more breath. And good. And then she's going to come down, put her hand on the ground. We didn't do the spiral on the other side, did we? Oh well. We'll just skip right back. You could do a spiral there. Right, shift back until you've got the front leg all the way straight. Place for you, Lolly, it's your right hand. For people doing on the opposite side, with the left hand. So the same hand goes down as the leg that's in front, and then the opposite hand can reach over. And again, if you can grab the foot, great. If not, it's okay. You can just rest the hand on your shin. It's pretty deal. But you don't want to sit your hips all the way back on the heel of the foot behind you, because then that puts a little bit more stretch to the knee that you're on. You want the weight going forward over the front leg. You feel that your heel is grounded, you're pulling back with the right hip. Good. And then she's going to come back onto that front leg and go to the lunge just so we get a nice transition. Rotate to the center and do a forward hang over wide legs. Good. And then, yeah, nice stretch. Walk your feet in closer and roll up. And we just have a few more stretches. Okay, we're moving on, and we're going to do a little bit more active functional preparation stretches. So just standing with your feet in what we call neutral hip distance parallel position, we're just going to do some small knee bends. And it's important that you don't go too deep. I don't want you to stick the hips back. So it's not a mini squat. These are just little knee bends. This is very similar to the leg work that we do on the Reformer on the Cadillac, where your back is just held in a neutral position, your pelvis is straight up and down. Really be careful to feel that your rib cage stays right over your hips. It's not in front or back of your hips. Your feet stay nice and flat. You're not going too deep so you don't feel in your knees. You should actually feel this in your abdominals a little bit, especially when you push really tall. Push down and stretch through the torso. Let's have her do one more. And then she's gonna go to releves, keeping your body totally straight. Feel down with the toes, up to the top of the head. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Excellent. Now, take your legs a little bit wider apart and put your hands on your lower back. And we're gonna do a standing hip flexor stretch. So letting the knees bend, she's gonna push her hips forward and push until she feels a stretch in the front of the hips, and then come back. And her hands are right on her lower back. You do actually wanna have a pretty good press with your hands. The hands help to push those hips forward. Good. Let's do one more with the hands on the lower back, right? Everybody can use this hip flexor stretch that we do. Now, just to get a little more out of it, I want her to take her right foot behind and just do a hip flexor stretch, pushing the hips forward. So she's mainly getting the left hip, right? There's no weight on her right foot. It's all on her left foot, and hips are just pushing forward. Now, do a little more out of it by raising your left hand. Sorry, your left hand. Raise your left arm and push the hip forward. Keep the right hand on the back. Again, one more. So again, she's just getting more out of it by lifting that arm up. Good, let's change. Other foot back. Do a couple with both hands on the back still. Don't think down, think forward with the hips. Forward. All right, now lift up the right arm. So you feel this, it makes it a lot more intense when you only have all of your weights on just one leg. I'm kind of leaning back as I'm videoing this. Stop. And good. Okay, so now we're gonna do a standing single leg hip hinge, which helps to sort of stretch the hips and the hamstrings. So she's gonna step back with the right foot and just bend over and be on the heel of the front foot, and then come back. And these you kind of wanna just move through. You wanna step back and forward, and back and forward. It's nice to stick the butt out to the back. Good. And one more each way. And it's really just step. You just simply step back and forward. Good. 3 on each is enough. Now we got one more stretch. Hold on. Alrighty, one more stretch. So we've stretched the front of the hips, we've stretched the back. Now to stretch the side, and especially to help lengthen the IT band. So it's nice to face a door jamb or something that you can kind of hold onto. And she's gonna take one leg across to the back. Right. So she's gonna take it and put it on the side edge of the foot. And then she's gonna just bend over and twist a little bit toward that straight leg. So she's pushing her hips a little bit to her left with her leg behind. That helps to get deep in that stretch. Yes?
Yes.
Feel it?
I feel it all the way through the IT band.
Just to show you from the front. Good. Okay, let's try the other side. And this one, again, you just want to hold it for, just a while. And what's really critical is that she's pushing that hip a little bit and turning into it. Right, she's pushing that hip out and turning into that leg. And that really gets that IT band stretch. Show you a little bit from the back. Good. Let's do it again, each leg.
Sure, it feels great.
So she's bending over, she's hinging at the waist over and doing a little bit of a curve. Good. Other side. And it's nice to hold on to that wall so that you can kind of give into your body weight a little bit. And finish, and great. Thank you.